Today we're speaking with Mary Irish, expert on plants of the Southwest and dry gardens. You are a prolific author, I would say. You've got, what, about 10 books right now?
I'm working on my 10th right now.
You're working on your 10th. So 9 books out there that are wonderful resources for those individuals who want to learn more about xeric plants.
Good.
And what works for them. You also teach classes and lectures.
I do.
And then you also do actual consulting on projects as well, which revitalizing, designing some.
Sure.
You've moved around a little bit, not that I've been stalking you, but you've been from Texas to New Orleans to Arizona, back to Texas.
You bet.
And so now you're in San Antonio?
Well, we're actually in Castroville, which is a little bit west of San Antonio, but it's sort of San Antonio.
Let's talk a little bit about our topic today, our border gardens. What is a border garden?
Well, it's actually a very old concept, maybe 150 years old or something. Started with people named Gertrude Jekyll and William Robinson.
Absolutely.
They went through this whole program, basically, trying to convince people to relax what they were planting. It was a time when things were very, very formal and really laid out, and they were crisp. And they thought, oh, no, let's look at plants in their more natural state. That then evolved into what we call long borders, which is a planting that, in their case, bordered a lawn.
Okay.
You know, and long, in their case, was pretty long. You know, I mean, they get. Oh yeah, there's one in Raleigh at the Ralston Arboretum. I think it's 100 feet long. I mean,
wow.
But you know, that isn't what you have to have in your yard.
Sure,
you know?
sure.
But the principles are very similar. I mean, they're kind of easy. One is you change heights.
Okay.
Of course, you don't put the tall guys in the front. You kind of go small, medium, and large.
Like a concert.
Kind of like a concert, so you can see over the head. You want to see these little bitty guys that bloom. You try to find things that bloom at different times of the year, and that's usually not very difficult, to be quite honest.
Okay.
You don't have to go too crazy. But the height really makes it, and big textural changes. You know what? Big leaves, little bitty leaves, kind of gray leaves, green leaves, lots of leaves, and then in January, get over it, the whole thing is going to look like this tabletop. You know, it just is, you know.
Dormancy,
so
right?
we got, when I was in Arizona, I built one out of desert plants at a garden there. But this one is even more successful. We built it at our house in Castroville, and it's pretty long, but it's been very, very successful, and they're all Texas natives or slightly adjacent Mexico. And it's been a tremendous success, and it didn't take very long. It took about 4 years from beginning to end to get it to where it's pretty stable, and all we do is just add things here and there. And some things are dormant in the summer, and you don't worry about it, and some things are dormant in the winter, and you don't worry about it. And it just blends in that way. In our case, it's a view out of the house.
Okay.
So you're looking out that way. But they could easily be modified to a smaller, a smaller run if you didn't want the straight run. Something like the dead zone in front of a house. Okay. You know, where the street and the sidewalk. Right. It's perfect.
Right.
It's absolutely perfect. Because the idea is to mix up the plants.
Right.
To get more interest and more color, if it will, but mostly more interest and more contrast.
Well, I love the images you shared of this because we have one sort of a before, right in its infancy, right, but then later on. And I think that's an important aspect in gardening because a lot of people tend to think of these things as, we're doing this over the weekend and then it's done, right? But
I can't tell you how many.
But a lot of these, that it takes time to grow in. So it's really a trajectory more so than what I always like to say, an intervention, right? That's something that you're starting that'll take time to mature in, and then you also can experiment, right? It's not static.
We're highly experimental about this. The other thing is that this one, as you see in the photo, there are 6 trees. Okay. And Diosporus, the Texas persimmon, rusty blackhaw, and the plum. Well, someday those things will get big enough where they create some shade. Right. So that sort of changes your mix as things go on, but that's okay. Right. You just adjust. It's just no problem at all. You can also think of it as small front yards, and they have a walkway. Or whether it's straight or not is irrelevant. Right. But it could be lined on both sides or one side. It doesn't make any difference. With something like this, instead of like hedges or just dark green grass or dark green ground covers. And what's really been very satisfying about this particular perennial bed for us is because they're really native, because they're really well suited to the area, they don't take a lot of care. And sometimes they grow a little bit more than we want them to.
Sure.
So we have to cut them back a little bit.
Right.
But they're very tough. They're very hardy to the area. They don't take a tremendous amount of water. And they just grow beautifully, you know.
Right.
And from May to, say, November, it's incredible. And really, January is the only really low time.
Well, it's sleeping, right?
Yeah, you know, everybody goes to sleep. I mean, you know, it's okay.
You know, people tend to talk about beds or this approach. I mean, really, it sounds like, I mean, your whole yard could essentially be a bed.
Absolutely. If you have a really small place,
right,
then this becomes the way you plant, and you just interject a few walkways in there, partly for maintenance and partly just to come and enjoy it. I've seen very small yards done in, I mean, you know, condo kind of yards done in this way, where you really pack in a lot of plants.
Right.
And then you just have these small walkways through there, maybe a small seating area.
How do you hit on your composition? Do you really, is it more of an aesthetic thing, you know, some colors? I mean, we've talked about, you know, the size of the plants playing into that. But I mean, when you start deciding, is there habitat value you might go for? Is it really cover? I mean, how do you sort of crack into that big complex egg?
You can start with things like, I mean, this garden, more than we ever anticipated, attracts butterflies like crazy.
Wonderful.
That is usually, if you want to start there, that's usually daisy-like sunflower family members that bloom in the summer or bloom in the warm weather. You'll have everybody.
Okay.
I would suggest that mostly you get the biggest things in first.
Okay.
You know, if you're going to put trees in it, or even a small tree like a plum, put them in first. If you, the Vigiaria is the one I was talking about, you know, that's one of them. Goldeneye, you know, they're going to get big.
Right.
So personally, I would say put in the big ones first. So that way you kind of have a feeling for the space.
Okay.
Things that are only going to grow this big, you know, well, you just kind of keep popping them in and wherever they go. And the ones that are really, really small, they just kind of go along the edge. I always urge people to start with the big things.
Okay.
Because it kind of sets the space.
Sure.
And it sort of defines how you can fill in. And then basically you just fill in. The other thing to keep track of is, like, you don't want to take, I've got this goldeneye here and I have another soldier on the side. You want to spread them out.
Okay.
And that will give you much, much more interest than you know, soldiers down the row, kind of thing. So that's another sort of principle that I think works very, very well.
So, I mean, specifically when you're spacing like that, I mean, I know a lot of people, you know, they'll see a bed and they'll just stick them in, you know, 1 foot on center, a grid.
Exactly.
So you're saying mix it up. There's no rhyme or reason.
Mix it up. You'll see in that picture that the no-liners are kind of across from each other, but nothing else is. And so you kind of think of it as going in diagonals almost. And that'll give you a lot of interest and a lot more activity. Whatever it ends in, it doesn't matter whether it's your doorway or the end of the, make something important down there.
Okay.
So that it pulls your eye.
One of your quotes, which I read, and I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but I absolutely loved it, is, don't cast plants aside because of ignorance.
That is correct. Put it in the ground and see what it does, and give it a try. You know, often we buy plants that don't really look like what they're going to be. This is especially true of native plants. You have to just trust that what somebody like me or anybody tells you it's going to be, it will be. Because they may not look like that in the pot. So go for it.
Okay.
And also pay attention to the size.
Sure.
You know, if they say the thing's going to spread to 30 feet, it really will. You know.
Well, let's talk about some of the specific species we got. So skeleton leaf.
Yeah, skeleton leaf goldeneye is a Vigiaria, which is, actually it's got a pretty long blooming season, but its chief one is in the summer or the late spring, and then again in the fall. And it's a yellow composite. It's very attractive to butterflies, numerous species of butterflies. It has those fine, thin leaves, so it looks very lightweight, but it's thick. It's an interesting combination of looking kind of light because of those little bitty leaves, but it's a thick sort of growing plant. It's pretty good size. I mean, it's 3 to 4 feet tall easily. Yeah.
What about tropical threefold?
Our Trixus annula from the valley, which is doing better where we are than we anticipated, because some things from the valley, they have cold problems up here, and others don't.
Sure.
you know, and this one doesn't.
It's Central Texas.
Hey, what can I tell you?
It happens.
We all know. It also is a warm season blooming plant, also in the sunflower family, but just a little bit different bloom. But it has a larger, darker green leaf. It's very attractive.
And one I really love, gray globe mallow.
Oh, baby. Isn't it beautiful? Oh. And it really works in things like this because of that tremendous texture and color of the leaves.
Right.
The apricot kind of dreamsicle blooms are really nice,
gorgeous.
But it's the leaves that really attract me. They're really beautiful. It also has a very, very tight form.
And you want to trim those back during the winter, though, or do you? How do you
the
do
late
those?
winter, early spring, it's usually a good idea. They will look a little dreary after the winter sometimes. Not even really cold damage as much as they're kind of tired. You know. But yeah, cutting them back helps a lot.
And then southern anemone. Anemone.
Tin spot anemone. This is a bulb that's native that disappears all summer and most of the fall, and it's coming out right now.
Yep.
And it will bloom soon, about yay big. It's just a beautiful white blooming bulb. And this thing, once you get it started, it will spread.
Right.
And things like this I absolutely love because they just take over. They don't take over like running away from you like Bermuda or something.
Right.
But I mean, they move themselves around the yard, and they're just gorgeous. They take no care, zero.
Okay. Shrubby bone set.
Oh.
I mean, talking about a butterfly attractor.
Yeah, this is a butterfly attractor, and it will attract different species than the others, and species you never see on anything else.
Right.
And that's always kind of fun. It can get quite tall. It can get 5-6 feet tall or more, depending on where it's growing on. But it's usually kind of a nice shrub-looking thing. So it's sort of a back area thing, blooming in the fall mostly, or late summer and the fall in white.
Okay.
So that's a nice sort of color pop that's different than all these yellows. Yellows and reds are not hard to find, but you know, blues and whites can be. You know, they'll really introduce a lot of excitement.
Well, Mary, thank you so much.
It's my pleasure.
It's wonderful. Again, I love y'all's yard. I can't believe y'all actually pulled a lot of those up and brought them with you. So all praise to you for that's a lot of initiative and a lot of work. So next, Daphne will be up with your plant tips.